Hi, I'm Bree.
I'm Jake.
I'm Andy.
And we are the Far Worst on the Rockin Roundtable TALKFEST.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Rockin Roundtable TALKFEST, Episode 3. My name is Shay.
My name is Mattias. Welcome.
Welcome, the Far Worst.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah.
Of course, we are so excited to have the local famous supergroup.
Famous is a strong word.
I know, especially for the name that we have.
Yeah.
Give it 12 months.
Okay.
Yeah, and so what we wanted to start with is to ask you about the new lineup here. Bree, you have been the consistent member of the Far Worst since the beginning. And so tell me, what happened and what changed?
I would say the Far Worst was originally a cover band in the first few months of it going on. And then I wanted to move into originals. And then, we all get busy, especially in Vegas. That's it's a huge jungle of being a part of a bunch of bands,
Yeah.
So everyone is a part of a lot of other projects at that time. So in the movement of that, I was like, okay, well, I want to move into originals, and we all got pretty busy, so that kind of went on halt for a while. And the crazy story is that Andy actually hit me up with some material, and that's kind of how it started. I wouldn't say Andy joined the band. I would say we joined forces in a way. Yeah. So that's kind of like a small story in a nutshell of kind of how we went from covers from different members to me and Andy meeting up and writing music together.
But you already knew each other anyway.
Yeah,
so
we did.
Whether it be acquaintances or whatever. So that makes it better.
Definitely, 100%. And I owe respect to all of the other members that I've worked with. They're very professional, amazing, and they're doing really well with their projects as well. I kind of wanted to move forward in a different direction, especially with all my inspirations of Hellstorm, The Pretty Reckless. I want to do exactly kind of what they did with their own original music, know?
Yeah.
So kind of flipped sides really quickly, as you've seen me go through a lot of different changes with this band.
Yeah.
So, but good changes went through it.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, starting with the cover band and kind of getting first off, becoming well-known in the industry, in this town here.
Yeah.
So people know who you are, and then switching to original music, it's a good step to take.
Definitely. It's a big step, especially with hoping people like the original material, from going from all the Hellstorm tunes and Pretty Reckless tunes and Iron Maiden tunes. I'm I want to write music kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
So,
And that's,
yeah.
And I know you, Andy, you posted on Facebook okay, I have tons of new stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I'm okay, I want to hear this.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what that was. I think we started writing together full-ish time back in maybe July or so.
Yeah.
But we wanted to take our time with it, and I don't think we wanted to announce it too early and build up a buzz and then make people wait around for 6 or 7 months before we have a show, because that just kind of kills the momentum. So we were a little tight-lipped about it. I mean, not under lock and key secret, but I'd say we were discreet.
Yeah.
But that's what all that was. So any guitar video you post from back in August, September-ish, it's okay, that's going to be coming out pretty soon now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I thought you were just jamming anyway, because I'm well, he's not. Everybody's just trying to stay busy, but at the moment you weren't in any band that we knew of. So it's good for you. I mean, it's a private thing in a way, and it's business also. It's until you guys were ready to make any confirmation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to announce when we had something to announce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something strong.
And we saw your show here, and it seems like you have at least 10 songs, right? Original songs?
Yeah, I would say about 7 firm ones right now.
Yeah, I think 7 completed-ish originals, and then a bunch of others in the works. There's always stuff in the works and ideas and stuff going on. But
and speaking of that, you had the single Monsters come out April 4th.
We did.
Yeah, which is insane. I remember that song when we saw you live.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Sweet.
and when you guys posted the solo, I'm like,
Oh yeah, Andy's solo is amazing. It's killer.
And Jake, I mean, you are a great singer too, and now you play bass.
But, I play bass now, and that just kind of came about as odd timing. Like it would be like in an autobiography, like the weird timing that you normally read about with other bands. My old band that I used to sing for, Noise Complaint, I had a vocal issue and I had to get surgery. And in that interim time of trying to figure out what was going on, they were building up the band and they kept trying to bring in bass players and they could never get a full answer. And her theory was, we just need to play a show and then people see what it's about and then it'll get more consistent people who are serious.
Yeah.
I said, well, I have this bass in this room. I'll learn the songs. And as more time went on, all of a sudden I started grooving with them and connecting with them. And then, the members of my old band, they all found other projects while I was, and I'm not fully recovered still. So, so they found really good projects to be a part of. And when they found that, I felt like I was the weak link and I didn't want to hold them back and waiting for me. So I was like, we all kind of just went our separate ways and I joined this band permanently. So
I didn't know he could play bass like that.
I didn't either.
I was like, what? That's like when he
I found out when you found out.
Dude, when he started jamming with Andy, I was like, where did this talent? Like, I didn't know you could play bass this entire time. It's wild. Like,
it's a natural thing.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, it was funny because right before I moved to Vegas, I had this weird feeling I should just go buy a bass. It might come in handy one day, and then it did. So
you manifested.
He did. Seriously.
If you want to get hired, that's a good instrument to own.
Yeah. It's not that many bass players around town.
Yeah, it's harder to find.
I think that
It
was my
is.
theory. Was I'd find better work if I had a bass than with like a guitar, where there's a million guitar players. And
It's true.
And when your voice heals up eventually.
How's that going with the surgery? Like, how did they give you a timeline, or it's more like the way you feel?
It's kind of based off of whatever happens. I went and got the surgery back in February, and then some point in between now and then, I had this really sharp pain afterwards. And then I went to this, I forgot a guy's name, but I went to this doctor here who was booked up for like 5 months before, which is why I had to get the surgery back at home in North Carolina. And he's a guy that worked on Steven Tyler's voice. Oh, yeah. So I was like, I'm going to trust this guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he told me, just keep resting it and just, here's some therapists, get it built back up. But I think it's just going to be a better asset to use as something to back up her amazing voice and keep doing bass. It's kind of just, I kind of found comfort doing that. So
Yeah, he does great with backup vocals too.
Well, yes, not that you need them, but it's always great to have that.
It
is,
lot.
yeah.
Well, it's always an advantage to have an actually good vocalist doing that.
Right.
Because it's usually whoever just draws the short straw.
I know.
Shit, fine.
Right.
I'll try.
Nobody sounded really good.
Singer.
I wouldn't say talented. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because I remember when you sang covers. Well, the previous shows I've seen when you did Live Wire.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, this is my favorite, and the fact that you did it as a duo,
was fun.
It was
just
really fun.
so much fun.
I forgot we did that.
I can't hit that high note anymore. So.
Honestly,
Not yet. I
some
have to
certain
build
Not yet.
Yeah, those are hard to hit.
It's really
like,
hard.
even for myself.
But if it's like a year from now and you're full, you're strong, and then you guys might add some of those things to the
We'll see.
set list, maybe. So
Yeah.
Like right now, I'd rather just let that be strong behind
Yeah.
her voice and just make sure that back, because there's some live shows I've seen where backing vocals like really hit me hard if they're really strong. So that's kind of my goal now, is to get to that strength to back up her voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's such a powerful thing. I mean, bands, think Def Leppard, for example.
Right.
Even though they may have backup, I mean, on tape, right? But still, it just enhances the music so much.
It does.
And
Absolutely.
And harmonies. Oh yeah.
And as a fan watching a show, it's like, yep, this is good. This is really good.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So no, that's cool. And I mean, obviously, we hope you heal up as quickly as possible here. But
We'll see. Thank you.
And the good thing, you don't have any pressure really. I mean,
True.
Yeah, that was kind of the
Can kinda
relief
relax.
when we all kind of agreed that the other
Yeah.
projects that they are part of, and that what I'm doing, like that's more better what to do right now with our time.
That is true.
I kind of had this weight off my shoulders because I felt this pressure. Like I didn't want it for my own reason. I didn't want to like not go back and be a singer, but I didn't want to rush into it too. And now I kind of feel like I have the weight off my shoulders. I don't have to be 150% lead singer status to kind of get back to fast. So I feel like I can kind of recover a little bit better rate.
I remember Andy was like, are we sure we want like a boyfriend-girlfriend dynamic in this band? I'm like, we're business partners. We'll be serious about it. You know, that's one thing I thought about too. I was like, having my boyfriend in the band. Ooh, I don't know. That's going to be
more
interesting.
often than you think.
Very true.
But they don't really, I think, not on stage, you don't really... You're not like, French kissing and stuff.
No.
Like that's so not.
Heck no.
I mean, no.
Oh my God.
Keep it private, even though
Why do you
it's a
even
known
think that?
thing.
No.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
No, I think
it's like they keep it,
Yeah, the only thing is, like, I think he probably accidentally hit me with his bass is the aggressive thing. Like, that's what happened last time at Vamp'd. I almost ran right into his bass, and he's like...
We plotted how we're going to start the show, which was, it was Monsters that we opened the show with, and I wanted to run out to the front, and she got too excited and ran out right when I went to run.
It was so bad.
So I was hit with the bass.
And Andy was like, just wait until like the cue. And I was like, wait, I forgot the cue. Crap. I was like,
Well, I guess the question now is if he accidentally hits you with his bass on stage, can he catch like a DV charge?
Oh my God.
right.
Imagine.
It's like,
Just be my luck.
yeah, pissed off at each other before, and like, I accidentally hit you with a bass.
Jeez.
My bad.
I know 96 has done that before.
Man.
Maybe some of us shouldn't leave their makeup bags on the toilet.
Oh,
yeah.
damn.
She goes over and plugs the bass. Oh, you should have done the dishes like I asked.
I accidentally clicked your distortion pedal. Sorry. Oops. Okay.
And don't like this toilet seat up. No.
Yeah.
But you guys seem to all get along like a family, and you have that chemistry. And
yeah.
So we saw that just on stage, and that came through, and that's where the people watching are gonna even love that
For sure.
They're like, you could tell they all like love each other, like it's.
Yeah, it worked
And
out
also,
really well.
let's not forget to talk about Brian Scott.
Yes.
Badass,
Yes.
heavy drummer. I mean, he is so
monster.
good.
He is.
Absolute monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as he kind of came into the rehearsals and started just beating the shit out of those drums, we were like, this is our dude. Like, this guy is in it. Like, he's in the zone.
Well, see, so I've known him for a little while longer than these.
yeah.
So I had a feeling. So when I said, like, hey, I've got a guy on drums.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, because I mean,
tight-lipped. Can't
So Brian
wait for
came
that
in
first rehearsal.
like fourth.
Yeah.
last.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he was the last one in.
Okay.
But yeah, when he came into that rehearsal, like just watching these guys get to play with a drummer of that caliber, because I'm used to it. I've been playing with him for 10, 11 years.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just watching these guys get to play with somebody like that and go,
Yeah.
okay.
My ears were
When you
ringing
have
out.
that good support, like for that part of the songs.
Well, I mean, they say your band is only as good as your drummer, and
Yeah.
boy, our drummer is good.
He's really
Yeah.
great. He's great.
He's like a Mickey D.
Yeah. I would say that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
So-
I could hear that.
He has a really great sense of humor too.
So with the new, with the new lineup, and you guys recorded Monsters, released that. So, is there an album, a full length album in the works? And are you guys have started that, or what's the deal?
I would say, I'm looking at Andy for a
Say
cue.
yeah. No,
I would say yes. Our goal would probably be like an album by the end of the summer. I would close
End of the year, maybe.
End
I
of the
mean,
year. Yeah, give us some time.
We're gonna take all the time we want
Very
writing.
true.
We're gonna just make sure it's done right, because I don't think we're under any certain pressure or deadline to get stuff out. Exactly, but at the same time, I mean, we want to be productive and keep it moving along. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if for anybody counting, I think we have 3 songs fully recorded at this point. 4 more in the works. We're going to be going back and recording drums here in about a week or so. And then we'll, kind of take our time over the summer, getting the rest of those tracked and recorded. Again, under no huge deadline. But I think, I don't know, if we round that out to a full 10 songs, whenever that's done. I think
roughly.
I think we'd eventually categorize them as an album.
Yeah,
Because I mean, nowadays, I guess the way people just tend to release music is, a single at a time, just release something once a month for a while. So, I mean, we'll probably be under that formula. But yeah, I like the idea that eventually it would turn into an album in order, because I love albums. I grew up
me
listening
too.
to albums. I think listening to albums in their entirety, for me, is a stronger way to digest music and really get into a band and get a feeling from it. Like, I like hearing the songs in a row in a certain order that the artist made.
And I've been that way since I was a kid. Like, whatever.
absolutely.
So if you're into that, and you guys all talk about like this should be, because it's got to be a flow and a feeling when you're listening. When you put an album on CD, whatever it is, you've got to have that feeling.
Yeah.
Kind of right.
I would love for it to turn out that we were releasing songs in the order of an album, you know,
I
release
know.
track one, first
Yeah.
track. But
Usually
we're
it's not
definitely
like
not
this,
that for Cypher. We don't
Right,
know what
right.
the last 3 songs that go on the album are
Yeah.
going to be yet.
True.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it would,
It's a big
that would
decision.
be pretty tough for us to do.
It
I
would.
do believe that Halloween is on a Friday though, and New Music Friday.
Oh.
So if we want to shoot
Mm-hmm.
for that,
Oh,
I'm not
this
saying
year.
it's coming out
As an
on
album?
Halloween album.
Damn.
Would be kind of badass.
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be kind of cool of a goal.
We probably won't
It
happen.
seems
but-
like big album releases are spring and like fall, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
seems-
well, there's a lot coming out this
right.
year.
I know where I'm like I lost
yeah.
track just in March.
I know.
From February to now, I was like, oh my, like
month is flying
37
by.
albums came out that week.
We're so behind on stuff.
So many music. Oh
But do you have a label already, or no?
Actually, no.
Not even close.
And honestly, do you need a label today?
Nowadays, I don't think so.
I mean,
you
it's
know?
cool to be independent in a way.
I agree.
but-
A lot of bands are independent right now.
The band Dirty Honey is independent. They
They
do
are.
everything.
Oh, they are?
Yeah,
Oh.
they're more like the old stripped down classic rock kind of sound, but they're fully funding themselves. I believe they have their own indie label that they've came together to do to put their music out. So
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
who do we know a few people that they're like there'll be one main person in the band is funding. Oh, like from the UK, Lesbian Bed Death.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dan came to visit us, and they're from the UK, and so he's the main guy of the band. Like all the
Yeah.
other members have, but it's his baby, and he came and he went.
Oh, he
met
came to
us up
Vamp'd,
with-
actually.
Are you
Yeah, we
serious?
did. We
No
did a
way.
reaction a few times, and
Yeah.
then he said he was coming to Vegas, so he met us at Vamp'd. We like totally hung out, and everything, and so we're cool now.
Yeah,
but
he's such a great
funds
guy.
everything,
Yeah.
like everything. They're actually getting like a live Blu-ray together.
That's
so,
awesome. That's
Yeah.
really
but
cool.
if but I guess at this point, all of you as a team,
Mm-hmm.
really, I mean, it's hard to. Why should we rely on one person? It's like unless
True.
they're like wealthy, obviously, that's one thing. And
Yeah, I mean that's his baby, like I said, and
Yes.
and I love that band. But the band name, I'm like, what is this? Lesbian Bed Death. I'm like,
So rad.
It sounds
be
heavy.
lesbian.
It sounds
and
great.
he has this custom guitar. It looks like was like the cover from Venom Black Metal.
Oh, wow.
The shape of the guitar with the pentagram. and
yeah.
yeah. So, but the music is not black metal. It's kind of like. What is it? Is it heavy metal, heavy rock? Yeah, it's
Heavy metal
very
rock.
melodic, and he has this girl called JJ on
She's
vocals.
the new vocalist, so I love her. She's like 20. She just turned 21.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love her. Like
Yeah.
we've like chatted online, like on DMs, of the reactions. But we're like, so she's like her dream is to come visit Vegas. So
Yeah.
she's real like punk rocked out with like the red plaid. She got bright red hair, and she's
my
real
God.
like black eyeliner. She's just
Yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys would
Oh
totally.
heck yeah.
Yeah, maybe they can open for you guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Or exactly.
I don't know if we're at headlining status anytime
Not
soon.
yet.
But
Not yet.
But back to the songwriting.
Yes.
What I'm
Yes.
curious about. I mean, I know Andy, you had a lot of material, but have you collaborated, you two or all three of you, to write the songs?
I would say in the process right now, Andy would show me the material and I would take like a couple of days to kind of write. There was a moment where he gave me like 3 tracks and I wrote songs within like 2 months with him, like all 3 songs. It was a really quick process with the
Yeah.
first 3 that we started off with. I would say like the mastermind behind it, like he helps me with lyricking. I'll give him like a full sheet of like written music and then he'll kind of like piece it like,
Yeah.
because sometimes I'll just write something down with the melody and he's like, I don't know if this makes sense. We got to make sure this lyric makes sense.
We'll sit down and
You
tweak
know?
it and work on it
Yeah.
together. And I think we work very well at that, bouncing off ideas,
For sure.
bouncing ideas off each other. And,
Yeah.
just tweaking and harmonizing, and then kind of going home.
Yeah.
And
It flows really well.
I think, I think for us, our writing process is mostly just revision.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So-
Okay.
Yeah, it's
It is.
5% inspiration, 95% editing.
Yeah. Yes, it's true.
Well, for all 3 of you, can answer separately. What is your inspiration for like for a song? Like what is it? Something you'd be sleeping and wake up? Oh, I have like how do you guys all approach that? All 3
It's a
of you.
hard question. I would say in my shoes, it's a lot of different scenarios. Like I could be listening to a Metallica album and I'll like the way that he melodically sings a certain thing and I could feel his emotion in the song and I'm like, ooh, I want that same emotion in that track that Andy just sent me. It's weird. I'll get inspired by other artists, but I won't like like steal things from them, but I'll be like, oh, that's a good inspiration that
Yes.
Dio
Yeah.
had. I think I'm gonna tack on to what he was singing about. So it's a weird inspiration. Like sometimes I'll be driving and I'll have to pull over and like write it down on a piece of paper. I'm like, oh my God, Jake, I wrote this song. I'm gonna send it to you right now. How does it sound? So
Would you like record in your phone
yes,
too?
voice memos.
So, yeah,
always.
it's good to have that. Yeah,
I'll have to be
I
like
love-
da na 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 na, and I'll hum out the harmony. I'll bring it home. He's like, did you attach words to it yet? I'm like, no. So it'll just sound, I have to just piece them together piece by piece. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a mumbo jumbo in my brain.
Is it just lyrically or just like, or melody? You guys are to do the melody in your head.
I would say it's a combination of both with me and Andy. Like I write more lyrically, and then I'll bring him a melody as well, but he'll kind of like dissect my melody to make sure it goes along with what he wrote with the guitar, because we want to make sure we flow pretty well together.
Well, I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
we tweak some shit for
Very
you know
true.
for you to land on a chord tone or
Yes.
something. But I mean, she comes in with most of them 95% done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, we do. We play around and tweak them, and then maybe revise lyrics or revise melodies or
Yeah.
add harmonies or whatever. But I mean, yeah, vocally, it's mostly just her. She writes pretty much
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
on that.
And you, Jake, anything that inspires you musically?
I guess when it comes to like bass, certain bass tones that I'll hear other people kind of like achieving, I would want my bass to similarly sound and like cut through the way that I've heard it before. So just recently I just sat down and played with every single knob on the bass head and every dial and everything to like just hitting the chords and making sure that, and then we'll find out tomorrow when we go to rehearse if I the tone that cuts through.
Nailed it, yeah.
As far as the songwriting process goes, they'll hatch the idea of the song and then it'll kind of trickle down to me afterwards, and then I will take like the skeleton that he gives me and I'll try to add some stuff within it, like my own flavor to it, and that's kind of
What about if you want to put in some harmonies, like vocally?
That's all her.
Or
Actually,
yeah.
no, I would say with like the last song that we had, Enemy, Jake will kind of like come up with a harmony on the spot when we do a live show. So I kind of like, he'll go into his own zone. I think it just comes in the moment for harmonies with him
And
too.
that's like a whole
you know?
thing. Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's a good natural thing that he has.
Yeah,
Even
but you'll kind of direct me where
yeah.
to go with certain, because
If
I never
we-
had vocal training, so I'm like kind of blind whenever that happens, and
Okay,
she's
yeah.
a mastermind of harmonies. So
That's what I want to know. Who all had vocal training?
choir kid at the age of 6.
They tried.
I heard they were classical singing.
Yeah, I did opera training too. Oh,
you
my
did?
God, yeah, musical. I was
When you were a kid or
Yeah.
teenager? Or what, how
my
young?
mom put me in musical theater at the age of 8, and I was a huge Barbara Streisand fan and I can't never pronounce their
Midler.
names anymore. Bette Midler,
I think I
yes.
got our next cover idea.
Oh my gosh. No, but
go.
I used to be a huge nerdy theater kid, like hella preppy, not even goth at all, like not even heavy rock. I was a major, like My Fair Lady vibes, Monty Python musicals. So I was trained on the
yeah.
spot, even like improvisation.
Sounds like
Monty Python?
Elementars
Yeah.
at
But-
her past.
Yeah, they would have us go on stage randomly. They're like, sing like A minor. And I'm like, ah. So I had to learn to match every note on the piano with vocal training. So I was in strict vocal training when I was little, like all throughout my
that's
life.
awesome.
Yeah. It was worth it, I guess.
Did you
Yeah,
enjoy it?
that's
Did you
true.
feel like you had to do it, or obviously
Yeah.
you loved it? Or
In the very beginning, I was very stubborn and I wanted to do sports like my whole family. They're all so athletic. And I'm over here like hitting. I used to play volleyball and I would get hit in the face. And I'd be like, Mom, I'm not a sports person. She's like, well, let's try choir. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, I don't like it either. She's like, no, we're going to get you in a hobby and we're going to stick you in it. Like she was, yeah. So I stayed in choir and then I started loving musical theater. And then my dad showed me Guns N' Roses and I was like, I want to sing rock. I want to do this, man. So it just, I think later in middle school, I got into heavy rock. And then in high school, I was like embedded into rock, picked up the piano a little bit, and then started trying to sing like Lita Ford and like just got inspired by those vocalists. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I think in the beginning, yeah, you kind of mimic your favorite ones, but then once
Yeah.
once you have enough experience, you just then create your own. You have
Of course. Oh yeah, you have to have something to attach to in the beginning, especially with learning anything, you know? Like you have to be like taught through classical theater if needed, you know? Even when I tell Jake too, like sometimes you might have to take classical training with operatic notes or like a good friend Cassie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
she's a vocal god. Like she's amazing. She does opera, but she can also do heavy rock. So like I talked to her about that a lot, how you can mix your classical voice with rock and just like kind of.
Because I think if you have the, like you said, that kind of vocal training with like, or, you know, the classical, it gives you that base.
Oh yeah.
And then you get from there. You create your own style.
Yeah.
Because I remember one time we saw you guys. Well, we saw you.
Yeah.
At the Oyo, and you sang a Hailstorm song just without any music, a cappella.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is so incredibly good. You really nailed that one, and that's when I'm like, wow, she can be huge. And now look at you guys.
And another show, Thunder Mother, a song. So
Oh, yeah,
we
at
were
the
like, oh my
DVD.
God, this just could be. You should just professionally re-record that as well. I mean, there's multiples.
But now they do originals.
Oh
So
yeah. But it's always even
Close to what
it's
we
always
used
good to
to-
have one
right?
or two.
Yeah.
Or have a little EP of covers.
Oh, I want that too.
You know?
Like still, someday down the road, I want to do like a cover album. 100%.
could be fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like a
that'd be
project.
And speaking of that, so when it comes to inspiration, I mean, we know you like Hailstorm and all these. But what about you guys? I would guess Jake Motley Crue, right?
I'm still a big 80s guy. When I was younger, my dad had an iPod Shuffle and he had a bunch of classic rock on it.
Yeah.
And then all through high school, I was doing the whole thing everyone does where you try to figure out who they are. And it was my senior year. I met this person I was going to start a band with. And she goes, have you ever heard the Sunset Strip in the 80s? And I'm like, no. Yeah. And she goes, go look up. It was Alley Cat Scratch, Dead Boys in Trash City. No one's going to know what that is. Faster Pussycats, Wake Me When It's Over, and Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love. And the Too Fast for Love, oddly enough, another bass reference. I got the CD, and on the back there was this picture of Nikki Sixx, and his hair was huge, and he just had this like bass that was like red and black swirl or whatever. And I was like, whatever that is, I want to be that.
Oh yeah.
And then it just all senior year, I had the denim jacket with the patches on it and stuff. So I had like big Judas Priest patch on the back, and it was just I never went back since. So that changed it.
Good for you. I'm
It
with you,
suits him
man.
well.
And Andy?
Oh yeah, I mean, growing up, my favorite bands were like Metallica, Ozzy, Pantera, stuff like the classics. But I mean, I love a lot of classical music too. I think a lot of that kind of melody writing is just so complex and interesting and just so much fun to listen to. I love Pink Floyd, like David Gilmour as well. I think my lead guitar playing style, I always try to be like a mixture of David Gilmour and Yngwie Malmsteen if they like had a baby and the baby was like learning disabled and worse than either of them.
I've never heard anyone explain something like that.
Oh, that is brilliant.
Well, I'm definitely not as good as David Gilmour. I'm definitely not as fast as Yngwie.
Yeah.
So it's just a poor meeting in the middle of two heroes.
I mean, when I hear you play and when I see you play, I see some Eddie Van Halen as well, especially with the
absolutely.
tapping. Yeah,
everybody loves Van Halen.
Yeah.
I love Van Halen.
I
love me some Steve Vai too.
Oh yeah,
I can
hear the Steve Vai.
Solo Roth era?
Yeah.
Steve Vai? Like
Sure,
Especially in the ballad.
I like the I like his solo albums a little bit more, but
of
I mean,
course.
that stuff's great too. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, because I mean, you mentioned Yngwie Malmsteen. I've been a fan of Yngwie even since before he moved to the U.S. Because we had some mutual friends back home in Sweden.
Oh no way!
So I got
That's
these
too
demos of Rising Force when he was like
God, so
16
that would
years
be-
old.
That's amazing.
Oh, so that would be like when that just kind of revolutionary guitar. You had to
Right.
hear that and be like, "What the fuck is that?" Like, is somebody speeding up tape?
Especially
I
if
was
the
doing
demo.
that. Like nobody was playing that.
Agree.
Yeah, no,
That's
insane.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was such a big fan even before, when he was young and I was even younger.
Yeah.
And hearing that, I'm like, I never heard anyone do anything like this. It's just so unique, and then obviously with Steeler and then his solo work. And I mean, I still hold Far Beyond the Sun as my second all-time favorite song ever.
Oh yeah.
And my first one is Stargazer by Rainbow.
That's great.
All great choices.
Yeah.
Honestly.
No, but I was thinking when you were playing a couple of weeks ago, or I can't remember, but because in the beginning I'm like, oh, it sounds a little bit Zakk Wylde, Black Label Society.
Oh yeah, I love me some Zakk Wylde.
Yeah, good. That was like I could hear the inspiration.
Definitely some of my favorite Ozzy. I mean, like Randy Rhoads is one of my all-time favorite ones too. So no disrespect to those early albums, but I mean, like No More Tears, Osmosis, like that mid '90s Ozzy is just to me that's maybe as good as rock and roll ever got.
Yeah,
Nice.
No, I agree. That's cool.
Are you self-taught?
No, not really. I took guitar lessons when I was like 12 to 13 from this badass shredder dude named James Williams back in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Is that where you grew up?
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Okay.
And was I guess self-taught through the rest of high school, and then I went to Berklee College of Music, so I learned a lot there as well. So, I mean,
Okay, Andy.
Yeah.
Is that the first time you just found out about that?
Inquiry minds
I
want
was
to
actually going to
know.
get even harder if you said I was self-taught, and I was like, no way,
like,
dude.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have YouTube back then, but
Right.
yeah.
True.
VHS, mail order. Yeah.
I love that reaction. What?
Oh, did I never mention that?
No, you never brought.
dude.
I mean, I would have assumed with the way that you played.
Your
like,
parent put an electric guitar in your crib. No.
Well, they did their best to keep it out of there.
Oh man.
We
came out of the
persevered.
womb and it was like Bill and
He's
Ted.
all.
Well, that is so cool. And speaking of, because I'm such I idolize guitar players and musicians in general. But so both of you guys, I mean, you play bass now, and tell me about your gear. You mentioned you have tweaking your bass head.
Yeah, so Andy actually helped me like kind of build the cabinet and the head that I have right now, because I honestly don't know what I'm doing here. Like, I don't even know why I'm here right now. But Andy helped me kind of get the more professional equipment to be able to play live, because I came from with just a practice amp and a bass, and I had a Epiphone Thunderbird just because. And for the recording, he helped me kind of find a good bass to actually get a really good tone for the recording. So we're using like a Music Man for that. But yeah, that's kind of, he knows a lot more about my equipment.
You can explain more.
So he's playing out of the Alpha Omega head, those dark glass ones.
Oh yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
It's funny, that was in the recording, the rehearsal studio that we just practiced
yeah.
We're like, that's a good one. Let's just get that.
Fine.
Oh yeah.
Let's find it. Absolutely. And he's got a little Mesa 4x10.
Yeah.
Little cabinet,
Okay.
Which we didn't get to use at Vamp'd, obviously, because they have the Ampeg 8x10. So like, if you bring your own bass cab to Vamp'd, like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. No need, right?
Absolutely.
Unless you're sponsored and you have to play
guess.
something else.
I don't know. Just put a sticker on it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Imagine.
And you play Angle.
Yeah. I played the Angle Invader. I've had that head and cab since, I think I bought it when I lived in Hollywood in maybe 2012, 2013. Still in great shape. But then I run my effects off of a Quad Cortex. So the Quad Cortex, the multi-effects unit and amp modeling unit. So all of the effects are running through the effects look on there, but it's still the head's distortion, the Angle distortion.
Okay, gotcha.
So kind of like a hybrid rig. And then of course with the Cortex, it's great because it can capture the sound of your head. So we have all of those in there. So if we're ever at a gig where I can't bring a head, or we had to fly out or something, I have the option of getting that as close. I'd always rather have a tube head on stage, but if in situations where that's not an option, I'd rather have closest thing possible.
Yeah.
Than just rent something off the rack or whatever they have there.
Right.
So it keeps our tones pretty consistent.
But I hear a lot now that our friends back home in Sweden, they have played, well, specifically Tom and Henrik, they play Wagner.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Yeah, they're really good amps. But they so they did like you. They put everything, all the sound, so to speak, into that Fender Tone Master.
Yeah.
So that's what they bring now. They're like, it's so easy to travel now for
bet.
gigs. Yeah.
Jeez.
And festivals when you have to be quick,
Yeah,
setting
absolutely.
shit up. So.
Yeah, off stage in 2.5 minutes. That certainly.
Oh
helps.
yeah, right.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, it's, growing up, late 70s, 80s, I remember when I saw Judas Priest the first time, I think they had like 80 Marshall cabs
Yeah.
on stage.
That's awesome.
And then Hammerfall did the same. I'm like, that's the way it should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
bet.
for us, like it's a rock and roll band. We want to
Yeah.
use live amps and cabs whenever possible. We
Yeah.
want to push some air because I feel like it gives a feeling in a room that you just kind of don't get from plugging directly into
Right.
the PA system.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you guys feel about endorsements? Are there any happening, or is that something that
If you know any, send them our way.
Yeah,
Right?
right. So you're open to it, right? Yeah. So
Rolex
yeah,
and
well,
Maserati.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Message us for my address. That's fine.
yeah.
Liquid Death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put the label out.
Yeah. We're going after Liquid Death and Mornstar. Those are the two.
Yes. Great brands. Oh, yeah.
Now, as for vocalist, do you prefer with like equipment? Is there like, oh, that microphone I cannot, that's horrible, or whatever? Do you have a preference?
Not really. We usually use a lot of products that just are under Shure, right? Mostly.
Yeah.
Even like in-ears, and I always wear in-ears. Like I've learned my
That was
lesson.
my next question. So yeah. So
Not wearing in-ears, I'm like, I can't hear myself. Because then I feel like as a vocalist, it's recommended to wear in-ears compared to not wearing them because you might blow out your voice even more.
Yeah.
That's
and I've
true.
had that
Yeah.
happen, especially in the beginning of like cover experiences with the old lineup, is I would go without in-ears because I was like, I'm cool, I can handle it. And I realized at the end of the gig, I would be very hoarse.
Yeah.
So I realized like having in-ears can make a huge difference with like, okay, I think I'm going a little too loud. I think I can tone it down a bit too, So it's safer that way for sure.
Yeah, especially if let's say if you have a 20-day tour, singing every
Pacing
night.
yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then,
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully soon.
I can't wait to do that.
Fingers
Also,
crossed.
going back to endorsements, I feel
Yeah.
in his absence, I should say Brian is actually endorsed by Yamaha Drums, and then
Awesome.
for
Yeah.
sticks, Scorpion Percussion.
Perfect.
Both great
Okay.
companies.
Okay. Yeah.
He does. Yeah, he sells his sticks at our gigs too. So
Oh, he does?
$5 a
Yeah.
piece. Ooh.
So when it comes to bass sound, you mentioned, what is do you have like a preference? Any other bass player that is the sound I want to have?
I mean, I'll never be able to replicate it, but I love Lemmy. So
Oh, yeah.
Motorhead. So I mean, like I don't think his tone I don't think would match the music that we're writing, but getting a little bit of that growl in there, that little
Right.
distortion that he's got, just gives it a little bit more bite when
grit.
we use it. So I think we're using that more when we get in the studio, and then for live as well. I kind of tried to get that same bite
that
going
distorted. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, since we're just running one guitar, we definitely need the bass to make up a little bit of that room. So, we can get a definitely nastier, growly here.
Right.
I would say that
Bass tone.
the two tones I tried to marry together was Duff McKagan's and Guns N' Roses and Lemmy's. Just that little bit of that like grungier, punkier sound, but with that bite that Lemmy has. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I was.
Yeah, because Lemmy, I mean, I think he played Marshalls throughout his career.
I think he did.
sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, he was like more of a rhythm guitar player than
Right,
a bass player.
Yeah.
Great.
Because it was just hammering that
Yeah.
bass.
Oh yeah, he was just like it's insane.
that is-
I always have to look up whether Motorhead actually did have a guitar player or not.
Honestly, it
No one
sounds
really
like
cared, right?
It was just him.
Phil Campbell's a
yeah,
beast, though. Phil
yeah.
Campbell, like, I mean, Fast Eddie Clark was great too.
Oh, yeah.
But, and Fast and rest in peace, the whole original Motorhead
yeah.
lineup. But
God,
like Phil Campbell, I actually like a lot of the later Motorhead stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is about the song. The songwriting I think was a little bit more tighter and better, and I like Mickey D and Phil Campbell's backing him up. So
Yeah. Yeah, Mickey is coming back here to town soon. Well, it's in August, actually, with Scorpions.
Yeah, they had to
Oh,
move
yeah.
their
Yeah.
residency to the
They do.
fall. Yeah.
Yeah. I was supposed to be here in, was it now?
Like-
February? February? No, March.
Yeah, March, April.
same with Motley Crue.
Yeah.
I know.
yeah.
And then
They
they had to move
canceled their
theirs, too.
shows.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Moved
Mickey
them.
he sprained his ankle and he got sepsis.
Oh,
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
he almost lost his foot.
Oh
Yeah.
my
God.
god. It's gonna be one of those Def Leppard situations.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It can be done, right? I guess.
Right. Yeah. So guitars. You play Jackson.
Yeah, I've been on Jackson's for the last few years.
Okay.
Kind of spoke to me, not endorsed or anything. I mean, if they're listening, please. But
Please.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
But that's and what kind of pickups?
just the stock, whatever they
The
come
stock,
with.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the kind of stuff we're playing, like I like the natural, non-active kind of stock pickup, like Seymour Duncan's.
Yeah.
Like I prefer that, and Jackson's all come with Seymour Duncan's. I
Yeah.
like those sounds. If I drop my tuning, it's like probably about B or lower. I kind of like an active pickup, like either an EMG or a Fishman. I think it's just it's kind of hard to get some of those lower tones to cut through on passive pickups. But yeah, we're just a half step down. So
Okay.
yeah, I think it gets like the warmest, nicest tone with the Seymour Duncans for what we're doing.
Yeah. And speaking of warm tone, the guitar solo on Monsters, I was like,
Yes.
it's so. I mean, it's so clear.
Thank you.
But still, distorted, obviously. But it's just the tone is so amazing on that guitar
thanks, man.
solo. I'm like super. I'm checking out the reel. I'm like watching it over and over again. I'm like, God, listen to this. Like,
Yes.
yeah, it's a really even it's too short. The solo is too short, in my opinion. As I always say. But
We actually have our own Freebird coming out. Sitting up.
Definitely rather stop before you get bored.
Leave them wanting
They
more.
want more.
Yes.
Exactly.
I always say that. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've been listening to the first Rising Force album probably.
Oh, yeah.
When I bought that, I think the first 6 months I listened to it probably 10 times a day.
Oh yeah, easy. Oh, that was in my car for I don't know, my entire probably sophomore year of high school.
Yeah, it was.
I did not leave the changer.
So I no hate on guitar solos, and
No.
actually she has starting to appreciate guitar solos as well now
Nice.
because I keep pushing her to listen.
Yes.
Yes.
My
But
girl's the same
vocals
way.
are always number one for me, though. So.
Oh, my girl Taylor, like when we first got together, she was like a punk rock kid. Like that's all she liked. She didn't notice guitar solos. So fast forward to a couple years later, her favorite band is Era, and she's like watching like nerdy guitar videos.
awesome.
Yep, I got her into it.
Oh man, that's so funny.
So you being compared to a lot of people that you're influenced by, like Lizzie Hale, people like that, Courtney Love. So how do you feel of the comparisons? Like I don't know. How do you feel about that? And
Yeah, I feel Lizzie Hale is like, oh, that's a great compliment. I've heard actually mixed feelings about Lizzie Hale's vocals. Some people may like them and some people may not like them. Because, even though with some females in rock, they're like, oh, she's singing way too heavy because she's too pretty to be singing like that, So I've had compliments like, I wouldn't call that a compliment, but I've had comments like that too.
Yeah.
And I think it's an awesome comparison, but I also received like the negative backlash of that too. I've even told Andy, I'm like, am I singing too heavy with this? And because I've had comments of them saying you're singing way too loud, or
personally,
something like that.
I enjoy your vocals over Lizzie's. Sometimes I think that she's trying too hard.
Yeah,
and I'm like, she doesn't even. She's already got the quality. She doesn't
agree.
need to.
Yes,
and I think that you've actually got you got it, and she didn't get it. I think you've been analyzed because maybe because of the comparisons.
Shots fired.
Right?
Well, I mean, we love Hailstorm.
Of course.
And Courtney Love too.
yeah.
Oh my God, she's got that grungy vibe.
I mean, I love Bree's voice. Like, I think when we first started writing, we kind of sat around and record demos because that's how we can tell if we like the song. And we played around with a lot of different dynamics for her, from like softer to a little bit heavier. And I think I think we found a really unique balance for her voice. Is something that's comfortably, uniquely her.
Yeah, especially with finding the right key that we wanted to have me sing in. Because some of the covers that I used to do with the old lineup is like even certain Hellstorm tunes, even certain Motley Crue songs, I couldn't sing them in standard anymore because
He can't even anymore. I mean, and this is a good discussion because we've discussed this before.
Yes,
So
it's true. Certain things that certain people write, I want to make sure like whatever we write, I can sing live. You know, because
Yes.
like you could go in the studio and be like, "Dang, that sounds awesome. Sing it higher." And then when you sing it live, you're like, "I almost threw out my voice singing that." Like,
Right.
damn.
Yeah.
And then think about like when I mean, you're all young now, but think about if this keeps going, like think about when you are 50.
Oh, for sure.
Like you probably still can have a great voice, but can you hit those keys like you did when you were 20? So
100%.
stuff to like to think about.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
most bands like that just drop a half step a decade.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you go back,
Yeah.
like listen to Ozzy live
Right.
albums. You know, in the '80s he was in standard. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the '90s half step down, 2000s whole step down,
Pretty
and so
sure
on. Just
Scorpions
keeps going.
Worldwide Live in 1985 is a half step lower than the recordings, and that's in 1985.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
And that's the
I
thing.
learned that
Come back
yesterday.
to what she was saying
That's right.
because when you're in the studio singing high, like and, you know, live, you
Exactly.
just no matter how young you are, you're not
Oh,
going to hit.
100%.
So that's probably the same idea.
Yes.
It's interesting.
It is wild.
Well, we've been very careful to write around what's comfortable for her voice because we feel like wherever her voice is comfortable, that's where it's going to sound best.
True.
Obviously, so
Yeah.
speak.
Is
to
that
it.
why you picked Half Step Down or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the first couple tracks I sent her were in or drop D,
Mm-hmm.
and then we wound up pitching. But I think she brought material in, and we started recording them. I was like, "What if I do this?" And did Logic Magic, dropped it at half step. So oh yes, that's much better. And it sounded more comfortable.
Because you can tell
And,
when it's like straining.
yeah,
you
just get
know?
a richer, warmer timbre. There's
For
some
sure.
notes are better with. So
Yeah. And also I think when it comes to recording, that's one thing, but then when you play live, you're excited, it's fun,
yeah.
and you don't really think about
You don't.
how to sing it. You know, it's just to your point, like blowing out your voice.
It's true.
Yeah.
Especially with writing, like as we're recording certain music, I noticed I was singing something like a smidge lower, and then we like pitch corrected it, and I was like, "What?" I was singing this.
wait.
Remember, yeah, with one of our upcoming songs too. I was like, "Whoa!" I didn't know I was singing that a little bit differently. So once you get in the studio, you get corrected a certain way. It's very vulnerable to be in the studio doing that. You're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
you know, that's wild.
I get it. So speaking of studio, are you recording at your homes or do you go to
well, kind of
hideout
so,
or?
so for our actual stuff that we're going to release, we've been recording with Logan Mader.
Okay.
So yeah, he's just awesome. I've worked with him before. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Super pro. It's like just great to work with. But I mean, we demo everything really meticulously. So before we even bring a song into the studio for us to rehearse it and practice it, we'll have a basic skeleton, like a GarageBand demo, pretty much a GarageBand or Logic demo, where I'll write music, send her stuff, she'll write vocals to it. We'll record that, and we'll go through basically the process of recording. Like, I'm not a professional sounding engineer. Nothing that we record is going to be releasable. But just by going through the process, I think it helps the songwriting a lot, and it helps us know like if it's going to be something that's interesting to listen to. So that way, when we have the demo done, when we bring it into the room and play it with a band, that's when it really comes alive. But at least the song form and stuff is already there.
Yeah.
But then, it definitely comes to life in the room where
I agree.
Jake and Brian add just awesome stuff that
They
we
do.
never would have thought of. And
It's true. It's insane. Like even with Monsters too, Jake created this awesome. If you listen to the very beginning, he does like this really cool bass part that.
Yeah, it's like
Andy
Guns N'
really
Roses-y
it's
bass line.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear
Okay.
influence
It's
for sure. in
insane.
this.
I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah, never would have thought of that.
Exactly.
That's cool. And I mean,
wild.
Duff McKagan is not a bad influence.
No,
So.
no, he's awesome.
Well, he used to be, but no, his playing is just.
Well,
love his
Jake's
playing.
playing brings like such a fun livelihood to what we're writing. Like it's a dynamic that we couldn't do this without.
I agree. Jake is a big asset to this band now.
Heck yes.
He even creates all of our logos too. It's insane.
Okay.
I mean, for a guy who just came in to do it as a favor of like, okay,
Exactly.
babe, fine.
Yeah.
He volunteered.
Nice.
Yeah.
So any plans for videos for either Monsters or the next?
I'm sure we'll get around
Releases.
to it.
Oh yeah.
We were
Videos
discussing
for
something,
sure.
but it's like a concept of an idea, so it's not like we haven't made any waves to get it done yet. But we
I know.
were kind of brainstorming ideas for it.
We definitely want to
Probably
get
sooner rather
a
than
couple.
later.
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
The
Yeah.
finger has not been lifted yet.
Yeah, and it's such a good way of promoting music with
Oh,
the
yeah.
video. So
100%.
it's always, for me, I love music videos.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun to watch. When we talk about different bands, like if you listen to a new album and like, oh, I wish they had a video on this one.
Oh, yeah. You think of certain songs that need to be into a music video? For
Yeah.
sure.
And there's different budgets, of course, but then come on, if it's done right, you could have like a zero budget and still come out.
Oh,
it
yeah,
could
like,
come out amazing.
even- what is
you
that?
could shoot with like an
Yes.
iPhone now.
Lady Gaga did it like a couple years back. She filmed
So-
with a bunch of iPhones.
Right,
It's insane.
right. So it can be done.
Yeah.
And there's so many
it can be
talented people in town that we
yeah.
all know
I could just film it.
who can do this professionally, but for like a low budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I get really low, but I went to film school, so I mean,
Oh, you went to film school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, like a
Wait,
lot
you
of
did?
promo videos. Yeah, actually,
I
yeah.
did that in high school. So yeah.
A lot of
That's great.
a lot of our smaller promo videos, I was putting those together to put like the reel that you saw today. I matched the audio. I mean, it's not hard, but I matched the audio to the video to put that out.
You've got a great eye.
Some people they could never figure that out. It's
Exactly.
not hard for you because
Yeah.
you have that education.
Got
So
the
that's-
Swiss
yeah.
Army knife of a badass.
Honestly,
Yeah,
and graphic
see,
design,
you're
too.
all needed.
So
It's
yeah.
all like dull knives.
No, yeah. Even when people watch like certain social media content that we create, they're like, "Who did that?" I'm like, "Jake created all of that." Even certain
Yeah.
bands are like coming to him, like, "Hey, could you film this for us? Could you take photos of this?" Because he has that eye.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
insane.
That's
You're an artist.
Yeah, very.
Not only a music artist, but
Take the compliment.
yeah.
I want to sit down and learn a little bit more because I learned a lot in college, but I want to, I think if we go the route of super low budget first music video that
Yeah.
like where I could direct it and shoot most of it and then get a buddy, teach him how to just hold the camera when I'm in the shot. But
Yeah.
if we go that route, that would kind of be the first really hardcore thing that I've tried to do with it. Everything else has just been kind of stock footage or like footage that we got from shows that I would put together. So this would
Right.
kind of be the first really big music project that I've directed and had filmed and stuff.
yeah, because it could be live footage, but the audio from the studio.
Right.
But
Very
it
true.
just needs to be
Yeah.
that could be done too, or flashes like
Right.
parts of it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be in sync. If there's like footage from the show, it could be like
a
in slow
collaboration.
motion,
But it's not
and then
difficult.
yeah, so
Right.
It's
Oh
not.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
but, yeah, it's interesting, and yeah, as you guys know, we are huge fans of music videos. So
Yes.
we're kind of like
So
trying to manifest here.
Why
that
not
it-
do a reaction?
One
to it?
thing is,
Yes.
of course,
we will
Oh
do
my
reaction.
God.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so we'll do the reaction and we release at the same time as you do, or
if it's
an
a new
hour
one. If
after
it's
or
a-
something.
nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Good to know.
yeah. So you can trust us.
We also enjoy on stage or whatever, like just when you actually put effort in your look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys often do that. So
Often, not always.
Well, always, but I mean, how do you feel about like? Is that something that like you get into it, or you're like, oh God, I have to like put on this eyeliner again? What I mean, how do you feel? How do you guys, all you guys feel? And clothing too. I mean,
yeah.
leather, all that.
I would say for me, I was raised by like 80s parents. So like my mom, I borrowed a lot of her 80s clothes. Like she's a woman that still wears all that purple eyeshadow still to this day. So when I saw her doing it, I'm like, I'm going to do it too, but I'm going to do black eyeshadow. Like,
I love your mom. So
yes. So she's the one that inspired me. I think one thing she told me when I was growing up, she's like, if you want to be a musician, you got to dress like one. And I was like, all right, I'm going to steal your heels then, Mom. I'm going to take them. So I would say for me, I definitely look up to like Lita Ford with 80s and then a little bit of like the Pretty Reckless clothing and like leather
yes.
and all
Yeah.
black is majority of my closet, but
Yeah.
it's all good. But no, I would say
get
a
it.
look for sure. Especially, I love getting ready for a show. Like, especially with him too. He's like, "Does this look good? Does this look good?" We're like always like looking at each other, like, "Does this look good to perform in?" We always test it as long as it doesn't rip.
Right.
You know. So,
No, we're the same. We love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And I
like-
was thinking about the T-shirt you had at the show was ripped. Well, you cut it up.
Yeah,
or
I
was
cut
it-
that.
Yeah, I'm
You
like,
did.
this is
I've
so
had
cool.
that. That was
Yeah.
actually the
Yeah.
shirt I wore at the very first gig with my old band. So I've had that for a
okay.
while, just kind of sitting around.
tradition.
And
Yeah.
I like it a lot. So, and I mean, as far as just getting ready for a show, I'll wear these cowboy boots to the grocery store. Like,
Oh yeah.
I have no issue with having to put on the outfit for a show. So,
It's like
Yeah.
Halloween every day.
yeah.
But sometimes
Right.
you need to try certain things, even new shoes, whatever, boots.
Oh, yeah.
You need to break them, like when you're just going out, because you got to be sure that it's going to, then it'll work on stage.
Especially
because,
like Doc
you know-
Martens. Oh,
Yeah,
we
things
gotta
like that.
wear
So
those
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Oh.
Because the show you played, you all look so good at the front there.
Yeah.
And you were like headbanging, and it was just solos, and it was up on the what's it called, the pedestal or
Those blocks.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Stairs.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
stairs, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
The ones that light
they
up.
look so cool. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's when you come as a fan, like we do, we go to tons of shows, and we want to see. We don't want to see someone standing there just, not moving.
Yeah.
So your show was really, really fun to watch.
Thank
on
you.
top of the great music. So
Yeah.
so it was such an honor to see your first show there, because that was your first show.
Yeah.
It was.
here in California.
Were you
Yeah.
guys nervous?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you always get nervous?
I would say for me, the reason why I was mostly nervous is because this was my first ever show fully original
Oh yeah.
ever.
Okay.
And I was like, I hope I don't even forget my own words that I wrote, you know?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like, I remember I was back on the side of the stage. Andy was looking at me. He's like, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
But I would say I was probably more nervous than these guys. These guys were perfectly fine. They're like, yeah, we're ready to jam. So yeah. What about you? Were you nervous?
I mean, kind of, but not really. I used to get more nervous when I sang because that was the thing I really felt like I would screw up a lot more on. I was
yeah.
very insecure about singing, even when I had a
wow.
full voice. I was very insecure. I just wanted to do it because I emulated a bunch of the '80s guys in my head. And
be a
I wanted
front
to do
man.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it comes to bass playing, I kind of feel more comfortable actually doing it. So I didn't get I got a little nervous like right before we went on, but I actually had a lot more excitement to do it. So
Yeah.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't really get nervous anymore. I feel like I got it all
You've
out
done
of my
it so
system.
many times.
I got it out of my system in my
Seasoned.
teens and 20s.
I know, he's
I used
seasoned,
to,
man.
I used to get so nervous when I was a kid. Like
Yeah.
when I would go, I would be shaky. I couldn't eat all day. I would be sick for
Okay,
the
yeah.
entire day until the show was over. Until like maybe the last song in, I kind of relax and start having fun, and then your set's over. And it's like, well, shit. That's what it was for.
So a little bit of nerves is good, I think.
Oh, I think so
yeah.
too. Yeah.
And I mean, I can just remember when I played in the '80s gigs, I was excited for the show.
Yeah.
And then just maybe 10 minutes before we're supposed to go on stage, I'm like, oh my God, do I remember the songs?
Yes.
And then when I hit the first chord, I'm like, okay, this
Yep. You
this
step
is
into
who I
a
want to
realm.
be.
Yeah.
Autopilot, it's fine.
It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
And then I just rocked out and had fun. Until they turned off the electricity.
Never leave on your own.
Right?
cops show up.
Oh my God.
Oh man, no, that's so cool. So I know you guys have one gig booked, as far as we know, Composer's Room, May 25th.
Yeah.
Anything else going on that you can share?
Yes, we do have a gig before that. May 9th, we're playing on Fremont for
Okay.
a free show. So that one's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, right. Is that the First Street stage?
I think so. I think.
Okay.
I think it is. Yeah. So apparently they do a thing with like local original music out there. So they showcase original bands,
Yep.
which is so cool of them because those stages, those crews, that environment is so rad. But it's usually just preserved for covers.
Yes, usually.
So
Yeah.
it's going to be really exciting to get out there and just get to see how that goes.
Right, and there's always packed with
Yeah.
people there.
There is.
It's always
Yeah.
people
So
running
many
around.
people.
So yeah, I guess it'll be
good
interesting
good
to
experience,
yeah,
but
to
it'll
see
be a
if
good
they're like
experience.
just waiting for Def Leppard tunes
They'll
or
be like, sing Freebird. We'll be like,
Is it free?
no, I'll give you $100. No.
So when is this
100?
happening?
No.
In May?
May 9th.
Okay.
Yeah. So
9th,
we'll be
okay.
going on at 10. We'll be the last band of that night playing headline.
Okay.
Slot.
So it's a good,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
that's
a good time.
That's when people are hammered.
Friday night
I
on Fremont.
know.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Stoned or
perfect.
drunk.
And I mean, the thing is, that maybe you do it once a month, or
Who knows?
well, until you're
Yeah.
like, okay, well, we're done here now in Las Vegas. We're gonna go to play at the Whiskey,
Oh yeah.
which you did.
Oh
We
yeah.
actually we both had played there before. That was
fun.
something I'm not ever gonna do
It's
again on my
expensive.
own.
It's expensive.
Oh yeah.
It is pay to play out there.
Yeah.
It's
We
no
heard that,
stranger to
yes.
anybody, but I actually put myself in debt to get my band to open for
really?
Stephen Piercy right around New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And so for all of last year, I was paying that off. And
Oh yeah.
and so
but it's a good bucket list, like to check off. Like
we
it's
had a good
awesome.
time
Yeah.
slot.
Great
That's why it was so
experience.
expensive. So,
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we got on at like 9:30 and it was packed. It
Yeah.
was a sold out show. And pay to play out there is basically you kind of sign this contract and you are given, hey, here's 30 tickets to sell at 25 a piece. And if you put a down payment, like a half a deposit in, and then when you get all your tickets sold, you get your deposit back, and then anything after that you get to keep. So
Yeah.
And it's hard to sell
being
when
a
you're out of
nobody
state.
band from Vegas,
Yeah.
it was more I'm paying into doing an experience
Yep.
that I know.
Yeah.
But Stephen Piercy, because it got sold out, we actually did get to sell some tickets.
And good eyes on them too. Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you know.
Got noticed.
Oh yeah,
For sure. Yeah.
I would
So
say
it
if
was
you're
fun enough.
you're like direct support to a band that's touring and you end up at Whiskey, that's another story.
That's completely different.
It's
but-
completely different. Like Andy's experienced that
Oh,
too.
well, I've
multiple
done
times.
both. I've done
Yeah.
the pay to play, like when we first moved out to Los Angeles. Brandon and I from Bravo Delta, we did our first show at the Whiskey and went through all those hoops, and we're okay. Like it was fun. It was a great experience. I'm glad
Yeah.
we did it. And then I've also been on a couple of tours that have gone through the Whiskey, so it's kind of a different experience. But I'm glad I did it. It was always fun.
Yeah, it's a bucket list, right?
for
I mean,
sure.
it's such a legendary venue.
Oh yeah,
and-
absolutely.
But I think the whole pay to play. I mean, it's like if you can afford it, and if you feel like you get a good slot, like you did, it could be worth it for exposure if there's like packed. But it's hit or miss, right? You never know.
Absolutely.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's always an investment in your future.
True.
hopefully.
Yeah. Right.
If you get in front of people who wouldn't see you otherwise and
Right.
enjoy you, then okay,
Yeah.
cool. But also, if we could do that without having to sell hundreds of dollars worth of
Or a
tickets, I
kidney.
think
Oh
Okay, yeah.
I think
Jake sold his kidney
that'll be our
to do
first
it.
option.
Yes.
So you would, let's say, if you had a sponsor who, pay for the.
Yeah.
For you to play, would you think that would be
For an experience.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Because I think your band would be a perfect fit at the Whiskey. Because when I lived in
fun.
LA, I was there every weekend and also every
Yeah.
Tuesday at the Ultimate Jam Night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What about Ultimate Gem Night in the future?
Yeah, I mean,
You never know.
you never know, right? That would be a way to go play there without having to pay to play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
yeah. So
Do they have all original bands play the jam night too sometimes?
I think they have had sometimes,
Okay.
but that would be like 6:30.
Yeah.
When before
It's on a
people-
weekday. It's fine. It's when you get
Yeah.
off work, come to the bar.
You never know, right?
You never know who's going to be there.
Because
right?
we're friends with some of the people who are organizing all that. So
Oh, that's
Oh,
super
nice.
cool.
yeah.
Heck yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, if we can put in a good word for you guys, but
Yeah. That'd be
Yeah.
super
Much
sweet.
appreciated.
yeah, but but it's difficult. I mean, all these type of shows, right? Especially at the venue like the Whiskey or Troubadour, those places, it's hard to get in there unless you pay to play.
Or if you know people.
If you
know people, yeah.
Like another possible, I would say it's set in stone, a show that's kind of far out in the summer. We are playing at the Viper Room.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In July with a friend of ours that lives out there. So he kind of attached us onto his bill, which was gonna be
Oh,
a
yeah.
cool experience.
Yeah.
So that's one in to LA.
'Cause eventually they're saying they're going to tear it down. Whenever
I
they
know.
decide.
Yeah, they've been saying that for a
Is
long
it-
time
I
now.
thought it's 7 years.
That's a
but-
rumor? Was it an April Fool's joke or was that like
they
real?
had-
The guitar center of venues.
Aw,
it just
man.
seems
Oh,
to
yeah.
always be like, yeah.
Because the only
But
place
yeah, no,
actually
it's still
tore
there.
down was House of Blues in
Yes.
West
Oh, yeah,
Hollywood.
true.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it's
I've played Viper Room a couple times. And it's always a blast.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
love it.
small stage.
Oh
though.
yeah, it's tiny.
I don't think I've ever
about
seen it, so
this.
it's going to be
Get
interesting.
comfortable.
Yeah.
yeah.
Close.
Get cozy.
Get used to feet planted and making a lot of move.
I won't step on your pedal board, I
Shoulders.
promise. Andy.
Those shoulders working.
But it's funny because there's still like pretty big bands playing there at the
yeah.
Viper Room.
There is.
Yeah, so
Well, I mean, it sounds great and it's a fun environment.
Yeah.
It's, it's right there in the middle of the strip by everything. I mean,
Yeah.
it's right across the street in between the Whiskey and the Rainbow. So
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
beat
yeah,
that.
we're going back to LA in a couple of weeks here. We're going to go see Cradle of Filth.
oh, sick.
Oh, no
Yeah.
way.
Where they're playing.
Wiltern, right?
The Wiltern. I was
Yeah.
gonna say
Fun.
the Fillmore.
Wiltern, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be super fun. And I mean, I lived there for a few years, and I loved it. I love the climate. I love everything about it. But it's just the traffic was brutal,
in LA?
and the cost of living. Yeah,
I
Oh,
bet.
definitely brutal.
Oh, yeah.
So would any of you want to? Did you live in LA at one time?
Yeah, I lived in LA from 2011 through the beginning of 2014. So I've been in Vegas since then.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
are you
no, I was out
happy
there
to
for
be
a
in Vegas now?
Oh,
Is
yeah,
this,
I love it.
You're going to stay
home.
for now?
Oh
It's
yeah,
home. Yeah,
I
I'm
think
here for
it's
good.
there's a melting pot happening in Vegas still with a lot
Everybody's
of musicians.
moving here.
You know,
Yeah.
look at the
Yeah.
movie industry. Like
yeah.
a lot
That's just
is
beginning.
booming
Yes.
here, and
Yes.
you know
Comes the
it's-
traffic.
I know, right? It's,
Yeah, it's happening. Every
the-
day.
we're
If
gonna
you're
hit-
like me, you were like, I'm like, ugh.
He hates it. Whenever
It
he
was
gets off
so
work,
great a
he's
year
like,
ago.
"Oh,
No.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, this is no traffic.
No, once,
you're in LA,
once
I
you
bet.
live in LA, there's no such thing as traffic.
You won't
anywhere else.
complain
Yeah.
when
It's gone.
Yeah, and that was because when I moved from Sweden, I moved to Austin, Texas,
Oh, yeah.
and that was also
gross.
brutal.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit!
There's
I
traffic
can't-
there too.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
insane traffic,
Yes.
and I was commuting like an hour a day.
Oh my!
That was
God.
brutal. But then LA,
To go like 7 miles.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then LA, what I did instead of driving my car, I took my motorcycle, so I can just go between the
Swerve
lanes.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the way to get to, because if I would take my car to Hollywood, it would take me anything between 20 minutes or hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, but because I was down at the beach in Playa del Rey,
Oh, sick.
but then with motorcycle it was 20 minutes, so easy peasy.
Yeah, I got a little into the public transportation there. There was a metro station right by my place
Oh,
where I
good.
live. So it was always easier to get to Hollywood.
Yeah,
But still. I
Yeah.
mean, they shut down early. Like I wish they went all night like New York.
right.
I mean, it is what it is.
But in New York you get killed though.
Get set on fire or something.
I've been fine so far. I've always had great times in New York. I've always had good experiences in New York.
Yeah,
with
me too.
transportation.
Actually, yeah.
He's from New York, so.
Oh, you're from New York?
Well, my parents were from New York. I was born there for the first 5 years of my life. And
Okay.
I'd go back every Christmas and every summer. And
Yeah.
so I don't know if we could count. I got the blood in me, but I don't know if we count that.
I didn't
as-
know that.
You've-
Yeah, my dad's from New York.
What part?
Long Island.
Long Island where?
Cold Spring Harbor.
Okay.
So it's just north of Amityville.
The only way I say that is
How
because
is finding this
yeah.
out
I like how we're
Serial
getting to
killer.
know
Yeah,
each
we're
other.
getting to know each other.
right,
We didn't
yeah.
know anything about each
The
other.
only
before
reason
then.
why
We
I
didn't know
asked-
research.
Finding out more about each other on.
the only reason why I ask is because I was born in Huntington, New York.
Oh, nice.
In a hospital by a doctor, obviously. And then we moved next to these people in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
And they were from the same area. They've lived there for about 5 years already, maybe
Yeah.
more. They were from the same area, and their oldest daughter, 5 years older than me, was born in the same hospital by the same doctor.
Oh my
So-
God. Oh, weird.
I was like, that's why I got like, wait, hold on,
crazy.
where are you from? Did you go to high school with my dad? Like, what's
yeah,
going
right.
on?
Imagine.
Oh man, that is so.
You're learning so much
Yeah.
about each
you,
other.
you have to
Honestly.
come here
Yeah,
to.
this is where we go. We're too busy writing music to
I
talk
know,
to
we
each
don't
other.
even
so-
have full conversation.
Like I went to Berkeley. I was like,
Wait,
what?
wait, what? Since when?
This finger's prosthetic. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's awesome. So, so I wanted to ask you as well, so we don't forget, social media. So, how can people find you except Facebook, Instagram, Spotify? Well, you have Spotify, right?
Yes.
You have one song.
Yes, we have Spotify. I think we're on every platform on
Yeah.
streaming. I'm trying to keep active on our TikTok. It's a little hard to keep
Yeah.
up with that too. I know. I asked Jake. He's like, I don't like TikTok.
I
I'm
don't
not going to
have
help you
TikTok.
with that.
I'm
I'm
not
like,
gonna-
okay.
Yeah. Nope,
Yeah.
not gonna get me to
and
get
the
it.
trends and
You tell
certain
me what you saw,
things,
I'm
yeah.
not getting it.
Yeah, yeah. We have a X Twitter too. It's, trying to keep those active. Yeah, but we're mostly active
Any
on
plans of a
Instagram, yeah.
website? Do you have a website or?
Yeah, it's in the works.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have more material on there, photos, music.
Merch?
Yeah. Merchandise. Yeah. We have, I know, Andy helped us get started with like pins and stickers and T-shirts.
Yeah. Just a
So-
little
Is there a
something.
pin on this jacket?
Yeah. There's a Far Worse pin on here. It's tiny.
Oh, cool.
But it's the first little logo.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So did you make the logo for Worse?
I did. Every logo that ever went through the band was created by me, even when I wasn't in the band.
Okay.
I actually came up with the name
Oh
accidentally.
my God. The name is. There's a stupid story behind this name.
Tell us.
We were in Vamp'd, and we were really, really.
We were
like,
so stoned.
fucked up.
We were on like 5 edibles and like probably like I'm gonna be honest. I'll tell
Yeah,
them the
be
truth.
honest, go for
We
it.
had like 7 drinks in our bodies too. We were like sitting at the table. Even like
phasing in
Corey,
and out of
she
reality.
came up to us. She's like, "You doing good?" We're like, "Yeah." And then we're sitting at the table. I think the band was done already, so we stayed there. We're like, "We gotta drink water and then we'll Uber home." But then
That was the night that the band was going to become the.
Yes.
So you were the worst band in town before.
yeah.
And you were going through your very first lineup change.
Yep.
And you came to me and you said,
I had
I'm
anxiety.
stressing out.
'Cause
I
it-
don't
also
know
the
what to
high,
name
too.
the new band.
Yes.
She goes, I don't know what to name the new band, and I want it to be derivative of the worst band in town, but I don't know what to call it. And she's like sweating bullets, and I'm sitting there like barely even conscious, and I go, what about Far Worst?
He goes like this. He goes, "The Far Worst."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What? What the heck?"
And then I was like, wait, hold on. No, it's not grammatically correct.
Because
Never mind.
it should be the far worse. I think that's right.
But the T looks
grammarly
better
correct.
on the logos.
But it sounds
It's
good
far
too.
better.
I guess, right? I know. That's what I was thinking of too. I was like, it's a negative name. Like, what if people think like we're trying to just be terrible? I don't know. It's just
I
a weird
told
name
her
to
that
have.
it at some point the words are not going to mean the words that they are in the dictionary anymore. It's going to the Far Worst is going to be a band name. It's not going to be.
It's very
Worst
rebellious.
uses-
It
in
is.
a way, but that's like your attitude.
What about Green Day?
So,
So you don't think about what that even means. You're just like Green Day. That's that band. Like
Right,
right.
yeah.
So it's that's. I told her don't worry about the name. It's going to be.
We
that.
think the band makes the name.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
Andy said that many times. It's true.
That's a good point.
yeah.
Yeah, and how interesting. Well, don't talk about grammar with me because I don't get it.
I say some
I'm like,
crazy
is that
shit
wrong?
that like I grew up with, and he's like, "Is that even like correct?" I'm like, "You know, I make words up."
Yes.
I mean, I just do.
That's what
But
language is. All words
Yes.
are made
Yeah,
up.
Every word. That's my favorite line in Infinity War.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But-
so it's all the
when
logos.
he talks
Yeah.
Swedish, forget it. Like,
Yeah.
say something. I mean,
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Actually, yeah. it's-
Välkomna hit era jävla svin. Det ska bli skitkul att snacka idag.
What did he say?
How dare you?
thanks.
That was kind of
Say
like,
thank you.
kind of like, welcome here, you motherfuckers. Kind of like that. But
Can you teach her how to say that so she can do one of the shows where she says "Welcome, you
Stage.
motherfuckers"?
But in a different,
we have to do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
for the next show.
Heck yeah.
We have to practice.
There's
do
like
it.
2 tourists that are like, I know what that
If you can guess the language, you get a free pin.
Yes, get the T-shirt pin.
Because a funny thing, I think it was last time Lita Ford was here. So Martin, the bass player, a friend of mine,
He's Swedish.
He's Swedish.
Yeah.
So and Lita tells him, say something in Swedish to the audience. And what he said last time was, he said something like, "I hope you have fun, you fat fucks."
I bet everyone cheered after he said it, though. Yeah, man, rock on.
Something like that. I can't remember exactly. What was that?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Right?
But he, he loves to speak Swedish as well. And then when we get together, like him and Bjorn Englund, a good friend of ours, also Swedish, she's like,
Are you going to start laughing?
nah,
Just write it phonetically on your hand.
Okay.
right, yeah.
Maybe it could be an intro of a
smear.
song.
I hope I don't say it wrong, where I say the wrong thing, and certain Swedish people will be like, "You said a really bad thing, man. You can't say that."
Yeah, you can't fact check me. So, oh man, that was funny. It's funny. So, what will be the next step for you guys? What you want to tell the at the TALKFEST here? How can people support you? You have the website coming up. You will have merch. Oh, you do have merch.
We do, yes.
Okay.
We need to
We'll put
online.
everything in the links below
Yeah.
as well.
The one thing I wanted to ask you. So, do you have day jobs still, or? Oh, you do?
Andy's the only one that's like self-employed over here.
Well, I teach guitar lessons. Yes.
During the
yeah,
day.
yeah.
It's a
Okay.
job.
Yeah.
It is a day
Yeah.
job. Yeah, we all have day
yeah.
jobs.
It is a day job. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, I'm a barista at a coffee shop.
Okay.
Wake up at like 5 in the morning every day.
Oh,
Secret
goodness.
coffee shop.
Yeah. What is it?
It's a secret coffee
Secret
shop.
coffee. It's Starbucks. So yeah, it's fun.
Where's my Starbucks?
Oh yes. No.
Okay.
And you have a day job as well?
Yeah, I work at Thunder Down Under. No, I'm just kidding.
I knew it. That's what I see in you.
Yeah. No, I work as a stock coordinator at Tommy Bahama.
He hates it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Oh my
I
god.
was actually, when you asked about the what inspires you to write, there was one time where I actually came up with lyrics while helping a customer, and I told him I have to go now. And I
Really?
just walked away from him, pulled out a bunch of receipt paper, and wrote the words down because I didn't have my phone on me.
Yeah, because it can happen at any time.
Exactly.
I mean,
And
you
I didn't
could be
care
at
about this
work,
guy's
you could-
Key
yeah.
West trip
Oh, yeah.
where he's going on his private yacht in Key West, spending $5,000 at
Yeah.
the store, and I'm like, I'm never gonna do that working here, so shut up. I have to write these lyrics down. So
Oh, that's funny.
yeah,
But that's when the inspiration comes. You have to just embrace it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's the worst is
Especially-
this guy's gonna write a bad Yelp review? Shut up!
Oh
I don't
my
care.
god.
Yeah.
I have a song. Like
When
it's
you're an
more
artist,
important. I don't want to lose
you're
it.
an
Yeah.
artist.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
And I did the same actually when I was young and I was trying to be a musician that I never became. I was working at a warehouse, like Walmart type of warehouse, and I was driving a forklift. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I have to stop. And just writing lyrics down. So I can relate.
Yeah.
You just have to do it when it
Yeah.
comes.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
It is funny.
And for me, it was like, Swedish is my mother tongue, right? And we always wrote songs in English, and I sucked at it. I was like, wow. And my buddy's like, what is this? Like, first off, my handwriting sucks to begin with. Then there were words that no one understood what they meant.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it made perfect sense.
Could have been avant-garde though. You could have been making a whole new genre of like broken English songs.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
That would be cool.
If you played it backwards, it actually is more English than when you realize.
Yeah, probably. Or like a satanic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Demon
That's what they
talk,
would say when you
demon
put your
talk.
vinyl backwards. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was awesome. Well, we don't want to hold you too long here. We went overboard last time, almost 3 hours. But we want to thank you guys so much for taking the time. And we know you guys can have a great future as a band. Too bad Brian couldn't make it.
Maybe the next
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
Next
yeah.
one. Yes.
Since his
100%.
love.
Yes.
And thank you guys so much for having us. This
Yeah,
has been an
thank
absolute
you.
blast.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And when we have more information, when you have maybe a tour planned, when you have the album planned, please come back.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We definitely
100%.
will.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, The Far Worst, Andy, Jake, and Bree. If you like our content, you like what we do, don't forget to smash that like button, comment below, and subscribe. But until next time, we will catch you on the flip side.